Hello everyone, it's Shini. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, nice to meet you. It's been a while. I always say that when I upload a video, don't I? Anyway, let's get on topic. So, Vtuber avatars. Is there a possibility I can do one on my own? That's a question that began haunting my mind since they became popular. Especially because I already have some 2D digital animation knowledge and I can see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, the magic of seeing quote-unquote a real-life anime girl interacting on a stream is already dead. Like a video editor pointing out exactly what's going on a green screen. I was recently watching a VTuber clip channel and a comment stuck with me that said, "I'm not simping for the girl, I'm simping the technology." Which is also what fascinates me about this whole VTuber craze. The fact that 2D animation is reaching that point of automation similar to 3D animation and motion capture that's pretty amazing really. So that's what popped the question, if I really know what's going on, why I don't try to make one? Well, that's why I'm here, to tell you about that little journey. The first obstacle I came across with was the software, which I decided to go for Adobe Character Animator just because I'm familiar with Adobe Products interface, so it will be a lot easier for me to try to learn a software from the same app family than trying to learn a whole new software from the ground up. Adobe Character Animator is pretty much a combination of Photoshop, Flash/Animate, and After Effects. So if I already know how those three apps work, it will be a lot easier to figure out the functions of each tool. This is not me saying Adobe Character Animator is the best VTuber software, it is just the one I decided to go for because of the familiarity, and that's it. So now that I pinned down what I was going to work with, it's time to bring up the OC. Well, here is the thing. When it comes about my artist name, Lakapi, my plan was for this Lilligan Pokemon character to be Lakapi. A little reminder, Lakapi comes from Lacapizochtli, which means jasmine flower in Nahuatl, aka Mexican native language. This is why this Lilligan character has a white flower on her head instead of an orange one. It is meant to be a giant jasmine flower basically. And here is where I came across the second obstacle. It is a huge no-no in the VTuber community to make avatars out of copyrighted characters. A white flower won't save me from a cease and desist letter from Nintendo. So here comes the conversion phase. I had to pull a whole new character design out of my ass and call that Lakapi. The saving grace about this is that I'm in charge of everything about this VTuber rig, from the concept art all the way to the rigging and testing, so yeah, this is totally acceptable concept art. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, probably as I'm speaking, the drawing phase will be on the screen. It was the part that took the longest, cause remember, 2D VTuber avatars are twinning PNGs. Twinning is super easy to do. The hard part is to create those pretty PNGs so no one will notice those lovely PNGs' lack of mobility. They are essentially made of glass. If they move too much, they break. So this is how Lakapi turns out to be now. Friendly reminder that color palettes cannot be copyrighted, so the color scheme is the only reminiscence of her Pokemon OC origins. I could have pushed further and make her like a generic flower themed anime girl, but I want to care about this character and not just be that random OC I created to make a rig. Hello Lakapi, welcome to my OC lore. You are a Gamma Nihil. What does that mean? It means you are one of those characters that belong to an OP race the main character and company talk about all the time and only appear at the very end of an arc to save the day. So this character will pretty much appear and disappear and probably come back for the final arc or something. You know, generic story plot points, nothing new. Anyway, that's all I can say regarding her character. So now let's talk about a few hiccups I had along the way. Something I like about Character Animator compared to her sister apps Animate and After Effects is the rig automation. As long as you create the Photoshop file with the right folder and layer names, once you import that PSD file, it is almost an auto rig. In the sister apps Animate and After Effects, at least the last time I used them to rig something, they didn't have set auto function, so it took a while to get the rig done manually. This is why my drawing phase was so long, because I was making sure each layer and folder was named and placed correctly. Still, this automation didn't exempt me from making some mistakes, and that was visible with the eyes. One eye kinda worked, but the other didn't. Also, one could blink and the other not. In order to fix eye tracking, I needed an additional layer down the pupil and inside the layer mask to determine how much the pupil could move around the mask. So without that area layer, the pupil wouldn't move at all. As for the blinking animation error, I made a mistake while organizing the folders. I created the folder and the layers, named them correctly, but forgot to put those layers inside the folder. So that's why the blinking didn't work, because the folder had no layers to play the frame by frame blink. So those were the two biggest hiccups I encountered while making the rig. Also, something I both like and dislike about Character Animator was how easy it is to just go back to the PSD file and edit the PNGs, and Character Animator will auto-update. That was nice. However, if said graphic already had any effect within Character Animator and the graphic is edited on Photoshop, the layer will lose the effects on Character Animator, which actually happened 3 times as I was doing this rig. It is not difficult to add the effects back, but I mean 3 times, guys. It does get a bit annoying. And now let's talk about the 4th obstacle. So by now the character is decent enough to show it somewhere. But then I remember why everybody hates Adobe products. They are too heavy. My current specs can handle any software pretty easily, one at a time. It takes a lot of resources to live render the avatar movements. I know Adobe products tend to be heavier than the alternative, but since all Vtuber software needs that live render function to do what it's meant to, I'm assuming all reputable Vtuber software are on the heavier side, just because video rendering takes a toll on one's PC in general. So in a hypothetical scenario, I want to stream with this avatar someday. Unless I'm playing solitary, my PC cannot handle the Vtuber software plus the game. The only way I could work around that is that if I have a 2 PC setup. Basically, the gaming PC will be just that for gaming, while the streaming PC will run the Character Animator software. But that's too complicated, and I just wanted to know if I could make a Vtuber avatar, and I kind of did, and that's it. Now, this whole experience reminds me of something that happened to me in college. It has to do with character rigging, so I want to share this little story that may not be enough to be its own video. So I hope I don't bore you with this, but when I was in the last semester of college, I had a portfolio class. You know, I was about to graduate, so let's get that portfolio ready and make something actually decent and avoid replicating the shit I did back on high school, something I already talked about on this video. Anyway, our teacher wanted us to create a focus portfolio. She was like, kids, not so kids, but kids for me. I'll never get over that phrase. During the career, you have learned all the ways graphic design can be applied. So, by this point, there's gotta be something you like and would like to dedicate yourself to that specific appliance. So your portfolio had to be specific to that branch you want to work on. And guess what? My portfolio was about character rigging. So when I went up and showed my portfolio, I said it straight. I want to be a character rigger. And you know things are gonna go wrong during a class presentation when there's dead silence. But after a while, my teacher said it. What is a rig? What? I mean, you're the teacher. How come you don't know what a rig is? So instead of showing off my portfolio, I was just there trying to explain my teacher that being a character rigger was an actual job position in the animation and video game industry. It was so weird, and she even dared to ask, do we actually teach this here? Like, is there a class you all had where you learn how to do those, rigs? And I was like, yes, it was our motion graphics class. And that's when her little brain finally connected 2 neurons and said, oh, it's motion graphics. Breathe, Sheni. Just breathe. Remember this Designosaurus that's now your teacher graduated when Photoshop CS2 was the newest release. Be patient with her. Oh god. At the end, I got a mediocre score because according to the teacher, I didn't have enough knowledge about the branch. AKA, I was a bit too specific for her taste and I made her look like an idiot because she didn't know what a character rigger was. But okay, this was the last semester after all. I didn't feel like arguing for a better score. Anyway, that's it for today. What do you think of all this? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.